First of all, let's have a look at the first, and that does feature Paisley Park. I made it the best of my weekend, but Graham Richardson just suggested that maybe is a little bit of a learner. 261.14, Concert Hall at 3:30. The Danger. Stephen Hunt, we'll welcome you back in. How's the market shaping here in the first?
Decent lead on the favourite Paisley Park. 2 starts for 2 wins. $2.60 you see they're trading on option 211 off a peak of $2.90. Clearly leads multis in progress, and from what I'm seeing, it's not going to start too much higher than the current quote of $2.60. That includes a number of $4, $5, $600 bets as soon as betting commenced earlier in the week. Concert Hall 3:30, there's a chance that this horse might drift on the warm support on the favourite. True Enough with Opie Bosson doing the riding, very solid in that third line of betting at 5.5, and also Paddon, who sits a similar profile to True Enough, both second up here, well supported at 6.5. But the best lead has been Paisley Park, similar to the first race, Rapa 7 days ago around Physical Fantasy. Same line, similar multis running through.
Okay, yeah, let's have a look at the speed map for you, and maybe True Enough, a potential leader here, and that's what our map's showing. How'd you see race 1, Brendan?
Yeah, is that the one thing that could undo Paisley Park? Is the tempo in the race? If it's not quite there for the horse, look, it's the only thing that I'm trying to find against Paisley Park not winning this race. His win was very good last start, considering where he was at Rotorua. He was in a sticky spot and he still won the race, and I love the way that he's let down here. I know you've recently spoken to Graham Richardson and have seen that video. The win was beating home Bridal Veil, who's come out and won on Wednesday. So things marry up nicely around this horse. I thought True Enough could play a part in terms of Cornelis and Trifectas and Concert Hall. So here's Paisley Park once again for you. Bridal Veil's in front, ticking along nicely. Looks to be the winner here at one point. When Bridal Veil kicks away, Paisley Park gets back to the inside. And gee, you've just got to love the way that this horse attacks the line to win this race over the 1,400 metres. Goes to 1,500 metres. There's plenty of the right ticks in the right boxes around him. He's a lovely horse going the right way, a son of Azamore. I've got him on top. I'm keen to play the Cornella here, 8 and around both Concert Hall and the 5 and True Enough. I did love True Enough's run last time to the races. Has run second 4 times in Concert Hall, showed enough last campaign and was a very good winner first up to the races out of Pukekohe Park. So 6 around 5 and 8. They're the 3 horses I'm thinking here in Cornella-wise.
Yeah, good race to kick us off there at Te Rapa. Let's move you on to race 2. Here's the market for it, and shows that Stilton's come up at $4 favourite ahead of the Buzz at 5 and 190. Can't have been an easy one to frame this one, Stephen.
No, tricky the maiden miles, particularly during the week, not so much Saturdays, but this field just lacks a little bit of quality on exposed form, and on the back of that, the light turnover has to be set 8, and so no clear lead. What I could probably mention to punters listening early doors is number 6, the Buzz, $5 off an opening line of $5.50, and leads multis. So from what I'm seeing, it could challenge Stilton in that top line later on this afternoon. Stilton, a current favourite at $4. Not friendless, blinkers go on, might switch it on when the business end comes to the race, but at the moment, the Buzz, if there's a slight lead, that has been the best back runner in what is a pretty light turnover affair.
Okay, it's for mine really tricky race. Let's have a look at the speed map for you and get you to Brendan Popwell, and hopefully he can decipher it for us. Maybe Scamati going forward, Brendan.
Yeah, look, it is a tough race. Scamati is a horse who, if you go on the run 2 starts ago, was able to be placed, and that was out of Te Araha, a horse who's gone forward very first start to the races, is drawn a nice gate. It's a race I am going to have a bet in, though, just a small little each way, and it's going to be around number 3 in the race in Gillow Charm. I'm just happy to roll the dice on an $18 shot in a race that is void of a little bit of form. If you go back through this horse's form, you go back first 3 runs in his career, he's been quite unlucky. He's run 5th, 4th and 8th, and they've all been nice runs hitting the line, and was unlucky a couple of times out of Ruakaka. Has a reasonable gate. I don't know if he can really use that gate, but it might be able to take a decent enough spot. At the price, I'm just happy to nibble away on the 3, but not get too carried away. I went 3, 11, 7 and 10 in the maiden mile.
Okay, let's move you on to the feature. This one is the Lodge City Rentals 1600, and an open handicap here, and it sees a mitigator at 280, 125 as the likely leader in a probably sedately run race. So that's we'll have a look at the speed map and see how that is. The chance to dance. Is this horse attracting money? I know it has been popular in the past, Steve.
Yeah, second best back runner behind the favourite, the mitigator. We saw money for Chance to Dance first up when resuming a few weeks back at Aupuni. Kind of put the speed maps out out of proportion in terms that they tried to lead. Well, they did lead with this horse, and it'll be interesting to see what they do this time round, second up. But plenty of support around Chance to Dance. It did dry up during the day, so I'm just wondering to see if that pattern will resume second up around the Te Akau runner. The Mitigator, clearly the best back runner. I see it's accepted for Boxing Day, for the Dunstan final. I think everything going well today, it will make itself available for that particular race. But at $2.80, well supported off a peak of $3.10. And outside that, now that the track's come up a dead 4, a lot of these horses, like the likes of Elusive Treasure, Athena Baby and Farm Boy, have been friendless. So they're probably hoping a few more showers to come around and be in that slow bracket. So best back the Mitigator in front of Chance to Dance.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, that 4-day backup, or the 6-day backup, 4-day backup, isn't it? Because if it wins today, you'd expect it might get a couple of kilograms extra in the $80,000 race on Boxing Day, which might be a factor here. Mitigator does look to be the speed in the race. That would be the case, wouldn't it, Brendan? It would cop a penalty for Boxing Day?
Yeah, absolutely it would, yeah. And as you said, for an $80,000 race coming up on Wednesday, on Boxing Day. Look, he looks awfully hard to beat in this race, doesn't he? Just lobs to the front and could be very hard to peg back in the race. Chance to Dance was a good run first up. Was a horse, as Stephen said, went forward in that race, and that had Nick Bakar aboard, and they've gone with the weight relief again here this afternoon with Chelsea Burden taking the ride, getting down to 59 kilograms. Look, he's a class act, as we know, Chance to Dance. He's been a winner over 1,600 metres on a heavy track when winning a listed Kanaka Classic. He's been a horse who's won a Group 3 over 2,000 metres at weight for age as well in an OMF stake. So he's been a performer in Australia as well as Chance to Dance. So look, he's a chance. He certainly is, but it's hard to go past what the Mitigator's done of late. He's a runner that's just got himself in a beautiful piece of form at the moment. He can find himself in that right spot in a small field, and that is in front. So, look, I went with the Mitigator on top in front of Chance to Dance, running number 1. Number 4, an Elusive Treasure, has run some very good races, Aidan, and some nice races, considering the effort behind Love Affair last time out in the Trevor Eagle Memorial, and did run 5th in a Group 1 here in the BCD Sprint. Did Elusive Treasure, and 3 kilos off with Darren Dennis aboard, down to 51 kilos. But yeah, I'm around the 5, 1 and 4 numbers here, Aidan.
Yeah, I was with the Mitigator as well, just like what he's doing. And got to say, I agree around Elusive Treasure. This horse is in terrific form as well. On to race 4. This one is over the 1,400 metres, the 3-year-olds in action, and some progressive ones in it. But once again, Stephen, it looks as though it must have been a hard one to price up. The Garrison 550 ahead of Light My Cigar, Grand Award, and another, I think, at $6.
Your difficult race, the fact that you got 3 or 4 key runners at the top of the block, or semi in the top of the block, that are first up on the back of trial form versus race day form, and they have gone with the race day form in the first 24 hours of trading, Aidan. Around number 3, the Garrison, stepping up to 1,400 metres, reasonable gate, gets that 3 kg claim down to 54.5. It's had the 2 runs in, and they've both been honest. $7.80 on opening. I think it was Thursday afternoon. It's been backed into $5.50, and that's clearly the best lead in what is an open 1,400 metre race. Light My Cigar at $6 shares the same line as Grand Award. Now, Grand Award, we're very keen to see what this individual does today, heading towards a derby. 100 to 1 into $41 on early betting. One of the biggest liabilities going into those futures markets around the derby in the horse of Grand Award. And a little bit of specking around Sword and Stone, another trial performer, and Gehrig, who we get the old combo back together, Roger James and Vinnie Colgan. But best lead I can give is the current favourite, the Garrison, at 5.5.
Yes, and interesting moves. Sword and Stone, one of those, $6.80 out to $8, so a little bit of a drift for one, who Brendan did seem to impress in those couple of trials as well.
Yeah, look, there are some horses here that have impressed at the trials. Gehrig, I did love the way this horse got back at a trial for James and Wellwood, and ended up being a dead heat winner at the trials. Grand Award, gee, there's been a lot of chit-chat around this horse, especially as that Derby prospect, as Stephen pointed out. Love the trial of him as well. He's a son of Seamus Award, and even Sword and Stone, who's drawn awkwardly, really did put them away quite impressively at the Avondale trials by 3 1/4 lengths. Let's go to a race day reference first of all, and it's around Light My Cigar, Trouble, and also Flo Moline. Now, they finish 3rd, 4th and 5th in this particular race, do these 3 horses. Light My Cigar, I know he's been... look, he was a beaten short price favourite in this particular race. He went around at $2.20. He has a tongue tie going on, but he hasn't been that far off them at the same time, has he? Look, he was beaten 3.5 lengths here on this occasion. His 2 prior defeats were less than a length from Light My Cigar. I love the way Trouble's worked home in this race. He finishes into 4th position. Now, he gets back here in this race, and he works home nicely to finish into 4th position. I'm happy to have something on him today, Trouble. I thought he was a horse who could be an improver again off the back of that run. He's second up, and then Flo Moline, another horse who was working home in that race for James and Wellwood, who is a daughter of He's Remarkable. Also, we want to have a look at Grand Award, this horse who has certainly got a bit of a spruik around him. Now, this is his trial. Leader rolls off on this point where we pick it up, where he sat in the trail. Now, you'll see here that the second horse comes alongside Grand Award and has a good look at him. And I love the way that he responds to that other horse coming alongside and then wins this trial by 2 1/4 lengths. And it wasn't just a case of being urged along. It was just a little shake of the reins from Trudy Thornton, and away he goes. That's a good trial from Grand Award, and Frank Ritchie does the training, and Trudy is aboard race day as well. Big watch on him this afternoon. I went with the 4, though. Aiden in Trouble is going to get back in the race, so there has to be a little bit of pressure in the race, but I thought if the horse can round it off like it did at Pukekohe Park, might be worth a little each way specky. Love the race, though. Be taking a lot of notes on the race.
Yeah, exactly. And we just wanted to see the format of this really stacking up going ahead, because it could well be a beauty, but then again, it's one that might be just an ordinary one as well. It's a tough one to know. Let's move you on to the 5th of the card here, and this is the market for it with Rock Your Socks at 380 and 155 out of the Group 3 Wellington Stakes last time out. $4 Hinch and Power is terrific. Artiste and Anisita, who Stephen Hunt has a small share in, or a big share in. Stephen, got the word for us today on Anisita?
Oh, look, I don't think it's a vintage field. She'll go back from that draw. We hope she hits the line stronger than most, at least, and I think she's a real betting prospect once she gets to 2,000 metres. Not saying she's not without a chance in this particular race, Anisita, but look, punters have identified one particular runner here, and it's the 3-year-old Rock Your Socks to beat the older horses. You see there, $3.80 on option 215. Off a peak of $4.50. So it sat in that second line of betting. It's now in that top line, Rock Your Socks, in front of the Baker-Forsman pair in Hitch and Power and Artiste. If I could give you a slight lead between those two, the stablemates, Artiste, the better back runner, at a $4.60 line V, Hitch and Power at $4. Outside that, a little bit of specking around Manhattan Flame if you want one to spice up exotic bet types, 18 into 17. But there's a decent lead here on the 3-year-old to beat the older horses. It'll be interesting to see if BP has this 3-year-old in his mix.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he's got Anisita in his mix as well. Let's have a look at the speed map for you for this as well. If in doubt, Hoyt Axton. Oh, I like one here, Brendan. I like one. Hatsy's Last, $21. I thought the run 2 starts back in the soliloquy had a lot of merit. One I'm prepared to be backing at a big price.
Yeah, Patsy's Lass is a horse that's got me a few times as well. Amon Green's got another horse as well that you might want to look out for as well, that he might be able to produce very shortly. The name escapes me at the moment, but it went a very good race at Tauranga. But anyway, yes, let's talk about this race. Rock Your Socks, yeah, this was a very good run, wasn't it? In the 3-year-old race, the Wellington Stakes, where it was in behind Crown Prosecutor. We saw the second horse in that race go a superb run at Alice, and the Salver, of course, being swords drawn. He wasn't too far off them. Hinch and Power is runner number 2, who won out of Rotorua last time on a slow 7 surface, and can he back it up now to a Saturday rating 65? This was the win when beating home Malarita. I think Malarita's not too far away from getting it done. That's a maiden galloper. That's the full to Tiakau Shark, got run down last Friday out of Tauranga. So I think the form around the race shouldn't be a problem. And Hinch and Power getting away strongly. And there's Malarita finishing into that second spot. But look, Moira's Town. Yes, that's the name of that horse of Amon Greens. Yes. Moira's Town, nice work, team. So, yeah, that was the effort of Hinch and Power when winning a midweek race, when last presented. Never easy to then back it up and go straight into a rating 65. I do like the stablemate, and that's Artiste, runner number 7. Let's go back to this run, first up this campaign out of Trentham on the 8th of December. Now, in the end, she ends up rattling off the fastest last 600 for the race here. She comes home and around 34.5 was her final split. And look where she comes from in this race. She's back in the field. She gets to the outside with Shafiq Rusov, and she's really strong on the line and through the line. I think the winner of this race in Portland, Jimmy's got a little bit about it as well and can go through the grades. But Artiste was nice on the line. Opie Bosson takes the ride here this afternoon and operates well here, operates with the track rated with where it sits as well. I like her chances a lot, and so much so I'm going to make her my bet of the day. Artiste does. happy to be shopping around sort of 460, 420, somewhere around that mark. Fives on the tote at the moment. Artiste on top in front of number 2 in Hinch and Power. Rock Your Socks, I do like the horse, the 3-year-old taking on the older horses, and I was really struggling to find something else, so I just threw a number 6 in Anastasia.
Excellent work, Brendan. Yeah, I like that. It's a good race, though, isn't it? That's one of the races I want to be really following, especially markets leading into start time. Let's move you into the next to the time. Bit of trolling of our presenter to our racing desk bookie as well. Race 6 meeting code 2, pitch and switch 461.85 and Sister Beale at $5.50 and $2. High distinction also in the market here, Stephen.
Tricky race, Aidan. Look, there's no clear lead here. Bit of specking around a few horses in that double figure line, including Autumn Wild at $10 for the Scott Sullivan stable. Sullivan stable from a peak of $14, so that's coming four full points. Pitch and switch at the top line of betting at $4.60, in front of High Distinction at $5. Sister Beale, who's burnt punters in its last 2 or 3 starts at $5.50. Also a little bit of specking, but gee, they're even willing to spec a few here right down the bottom of the book around Crystallize at 18s and Burno at 26, who resumes for Team Rogerson. They're both currently losing results, so no strong lead. I suggest the punters just keep an eye on this mark in the next 2 to 3 hours and just see how it plays out.
Okay, let's have a look at the speed map for you, Stephen, and see if that's going to give us a lead. Belinsky, Crystallize, likely to go forward. There's a bit of speed drawn out wide, so looks as though it might be truly run this one, Brendan.
Yeah, I think it will be. Crystallize with that lightweight could be the one that really does drive forward and get over to the plastic. He's a horse who did that at Avondale when Ashwin Goodassambi was aboard and could do something similar as well. We're actually going to go back to that race where Crystallize finished into 5th position because they really did like the run from Vasiliki, who finished into 2nd position. So if there is tempo in the race, it is going to play into her hands, you would imagine, because she's got back here on this occasion from an awkward gate. She's a horse who has taken a little spot previously, but yeah, nice run here. And the horse out wide as well is Scaglione. If you just want to find a read in the first race in the Bone Crusher colours, that ends up running into 3rd spot, and that was a big run from that horse. But Vasiliki finishes home nicely into that 2nd spot. Can Crystallize be an improver off this run as well? It could be at a big price. It's going to go around 20s and have that lightweight and be up front and trying to give you a bit of a sight, but just maybe more tempo in the race here this afternoon. Marked it on top, the 9 Vasiliki, in front of the 11, the 7, and Benno. Now, I went back and had a look at Benno's trial. It was in that Melody Bell trial. He was a horse who was back in the trial, and he wasn't overly pushed down the straight. He's a horse that I have made some money off previously as well. And if there's a little bit of cash circling around for him, throw him into your multiples. He's a horse who could be a rough chance at $26.
Yeah, you've normally had a pretty good read on that horse, Brendan, so we'll definitely take note there. Let's move you on to the next of the card here, and this one is the 7th, the Red Cabs 2100, where Starry Beale, as we heard from Stephen earlier on, has attracted good money. $4.60, $1.85, $6 Katy Perry, $8 Love Light, who was a little bit disappointing the start before, but in pretty good form. Looks to be a really good betting race. And outside Starry Beale, is there others that are sort of challenging for the weight of money, Stephen?
Very much an even spread, around 4 or 5 runners, the likes of Katy Perry, $5.50 out to 6. Now, a lot of these horses I'm going to mention are drifted on the back of the warm support on the favourite and Starry Beale. Love Light, 8 off a shortener of $7.50. O'Hara, Repo's Sun, $8.50, each of 2. Both of them open around that $8 quote. Lord Have Mercy, the CD Raider, $7.50 out to 9. So a lot of these have drifted for another reason, just tightening up that overall percentage of the book, which is currently around about 125%. We'll get that below 120 come race close. They have spec 1, I should mention. The only other losing result outside the favourite and Starry Beale currently is number 7, Neeson. Now, this horse does go its best races at Te Rapa. I think it's had 5 starts for 2 wins and 2 placings. Opie Boston does the riding. It's a horse that likes to be a pace influencer. So that is a danger at $13 off a peak of 19, Neeson. But all the talk is Starry Beale, $5.20 into $4.60, back left-handed. That's given the punters the green light.
Okay, yeah, Neeson's an interesting one, isn't it? Just got checked at a crucial stage last time out, but does need to be improving, you'd think, on recent starts. Another interesting race, Starry Beale's, as you can see in this map, likely to get back from a wide gate. How does that affect his chances, Brendan?
Yeah, well, I mean, with the way that he showed his turn of foot at Awapuni, it may not matter as long as the tempo is genuine enough up front. O'Hara is an interesting horse in the race, isn't it? With it going up in distance today to the 2100 metres and the way that the horse has won her 2 recent starts over the 1600 metres. Yeah, look, the chat around Starry Beale is that it was right-handed. That was the reason for why this horse did fail at Auckland. So let's forget that and go back to the left-handed win, which was 2 starts ago. And look, it was an incredible win, and it's a win that surely you can't just drop the horse on one run. And we've been told the reasons for why it did fail at Ellerslie, and that's why punters have leapt into the 5.2 around this horse. And he was just devastating here late in this rating, 65 over the 2100 metres with the Magic Man aboard and Chris Johnson. That was good. It was really good. Look, I'm going to throw one out here at $26, and it went round at $76 last start in Battle Royal. Now, this was at Ellerslie on the 1st of December. Took a really good spot here. Taiki Yanagita was aboard, and you would have thought here at the top of the straight, this horse is going to run in the money. This horse is actually a big chance of playing a serious part in this race. And just late in the piece, gets gathered in. Looks like it's going to run second at one stage, and then there's just these late swoopers out wide from Battle Royal. Now, this is a strong rating, 72 that it was in last time to the races. It gets 3 kilos off. It's been in some very strong races. I'm happy to have something on this horse at $26. Just a little each way nibble around Battle Royal. I've got Starry Beale as my top selection in the race, and going off that win from 2 starts ago at Awapuni. But I'm certainly going to throw a lazy quaddie together with Battle Royal in the mix, also some trifectas and first fours, because that could really spice things up at around $5 or $6 for the place.
Okay, yeah, that's well, as you say, an interesting race, and just the differences in distance will make it an interesting one as well. Let's move you on to our next, and this is the last of the 8 races. Sees Franklin at 3 on 125, 450 Charlie Rose, the stablemate, and outside that $6 for Miss Rippy. Stephen, where's the money?
Yeah, market that's dominated by the Baker Forsman and Stephen Marsh gallopers. Franklin heads the market, $3.80 into $3 on the quick backup, which I like coming out of that particular stable. Second time over ground. I think this race just lacks a little bit of quality v last Saturday in the first race behind Physical Fantasy. So the punters are onto that. Number 3, Franklin. Well supported best lead clearly in the last. In front of the stablemate and Charlie Rose. Solid in that second line of betting at $4.50. Miss Rippy and Easy Walking, a couple with Marsh runners. The best lead there I can give in early trading is Miss Rippy with the blinkers on, $6.50 into $6. And a little bit of specking again for a CD rater in Vesindora, dropping back from the New Zealand Cup Group 3 level to 65 company, $11.50 into 9.5. That's the one you might want to put in to fill in the minors. But the best lead I can give is Franklin to finish off the day.
Yeah, I love Franklin as well. Let's have a look at the speed map for you and get Brendan's thoughts on this one. Vencedora from wide, Lucky Dreamer and Autumn Wind likely to be going forward as well. How'd you see the last, Brendan?
Yeah, look, I think if you're liking Franklin, you have to give a chance to Take It Out, don't you, as well, who was in the same race. Who finished into 4th position with Franklin, who finished into 5th spot here behind Fiscal Fantasy last week. So that's the way I'm going on the last. I'm going to go with Take It Out in front of the 13 and Miss Rippy with those sunnies going on, in front of the 3 in Franklin, and also Nothing Trivial number 2. Look, he's a 10 race winner. If he could rediscover his form, might be the right sort of race that he could try and run into 3rd or 4th position. Right, let's go through our strategy and our best and value for the afternoon. I'm going to go with Artiste in race number 5 as a best bet here, is rated around $4.60 in the 5th. Battle Royal is my value bet, sort of more towards the place, but it is at $26 to win race number 7. I think Starry Beale is going to be awfully hard to beat, but Battle Royal might be that nice place booster for you. $100 strategy, you're going to go to the first race. Nearly spent the whole 100 on this Quinella in the first, but 6 Paisley Park as an anchor with 5 and 8 the Quinella around it, and True Enough, and also Concert Hall. Gillo Charm in race number 2, 5 each way at sort of $18 if it can run up to its better form last preparation. Trouble each way in race 4. Artiste to win race 5, and then Battle Royal threw a cheeky $5 on its win, but as I said, leaning towards more heavy place bets at around $15 a place, or 15 to place on Battle Royal. That's a look at our racing card here. 8 races carded. First set down at $12.35.
Yeah, Take It Out. Just 33 for 1. It's got to be a concern. BP, before we let you go, who's your tip for the holiday jocks?
Oh, gee. What's Jay Waddell paying?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Look, it's going to be around those that travel the most, who can ride at a reasonable. Matt Cameron is probably another jockey, Aidan, that'd be leaning towards, and then I suppose Lisa Allpress is the other one as well, who rides at a number of meetings as well, and also can ride very light.